Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
So, welcome everybody to the session. You know, we are opening, in fact, the series of session for this month, for October. We have been several days preparing the schedule for not only this month but the next ones. For your information, we will cover again some aspects of the European recovery plans and how can we go or be involved on them. And also, for sure, we will continue working on the sustainable smart specialization strategies, and in this case, for today, the interregional innovation investment initiatives. For your information, we have decided to planify at least one session for every member state on the innovative ecosystem and how they link that ecosystem with clusters in every country. And it will take some time because, you know, we are 27 plus some. Probably we will dedicate something like the next 3 months for covering the different topics. But yeah, we will pass through all the member states, and if you think that you could help us to organize the session on your country, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are very interested. Okay, so that is the general framework. And for today, as I said, we are going to speak about our proposals from the cluster side to the Interregional Innovation Investments Initiatives. We have sent a position paper to the team on DigiRegio. We have been invited to participate in a session that will take place the next 14 in the context of the European Week of Cities and Regions. Okay, and for today, the proposal is to elaborate part of the ideas that I will be translating to that session. So this is a co-creation process. But just to set the table, we think it's very important to hear some experts on this area. And we have asked the collaboration of Eurada just to have them sharing with us their expertise, their knowledge, and what have they proposed. Because, you know, Eurada is for us a reference on this area, and we are sure that we will learn a lot from them. So thank you very much, Esteban Pelayo, the director of Eurada, Andrea Carini, project officer, and Christopher Miknes from the also Eurada. Thank you for joining us. Now the floor is yours. Would you like to share the screen, or should I do it from my computer?
I think I could do that, and I will do for my colleagues as well, the presentation. I will pass the slide because we have a joint presentation.
Perfect. Thank you, Esteban. So welcome, and now the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for allowing us to be here. I'm going to share my presentation now. Thank you very much. It is, as Antonio said, it's a topic that we like a lot. And by the way, we like a lot as well the European Alliance Against Coronavirus. We feel involved because we are involved. We have done a lot of things with you, and once more we are here ourselves, in our case the Secretariat, but as well we have mobilized in the past our members. So for today, because we have a lot of things to say, and as well, we hope that we will give a lot of debate. I'm going to be very quick. For today, I will make an introduction of interregional cooperation. EURADA was established in 1992 as a project of interregional cooperation. So for us, it's the mainstream of our activities. Then my colleague Andrea Carini will give you an introduction to what the Commission is thinking, what is the interregional innovation investment. We think that it is necessary in order to say something about what is going to be proposed. And then Christopher will give you our ideas from EURADA, and that could inspire you to have new ideas. And then during the discussion, the three of us and hopefully you will suggest you more things. So the first part, that is my part, introduction to interregional cooperation. First of all, I would like to say that it's necessary for any association or any interest group or stakeholder to give their opinion. The European Union is established like that. We have a very open consultative process where member states and the European Parliament take a decision together with the Commission. However, in our case, because we are local or regional economic practitioners, we know the details, and we know, because we are working on that the details are very important, and beyond the big lines and the big policy, as well, how the things are implemented and designed is very important. So we have a role, and this is what we are doing, and what Antonio is going to do in the European Week of Regions and Cities. Because now the topic is that it's going to be launched a program to support interregional innovation investment initiative, which is something that we were looking for since many years. And now that the decision is taken, and more or less the budget as well is taken, about €500 million, so 500 million euros, how it is really done is important, and we need to give our opinion. This is the first idea. And the second idea why we should do that is to learn in advance and to be prepared to present proposal later. So the sooner we start, because it's not easy to establish this type of partnership, will be the better. So we already start listening what is going to happen, where is going to be the call, and then we prepare in advance. We don't have time when the call is open to prepare a good proposal. So because of that, EURADA does many position paper and do this type of initiative as other European association, and we will keep on that. My colleagues, Andrea and Christopher, are the people specialized in our team to do this type of things. So what we are going to discuss today already exists, and you know many things about here. If you remember what Marek presented before the summer, that was called the InnoSub 1 Cluster Facilitate Projects for New Industrial Value Chains, the new program has a lot of similarities with that, but includes the different, and is a mixture with Interreg, because you should include regional authorities, because everything is done in the framework of the regional planning, the smart specialization strategies that you all know here. So it's a mixture, let's say, between this call with all the means, cascade finance probably, and the idea to have a close collaboration between global value chains, as we say, and among the different regions. So we had to consider that, and the main beneficiaries will be public entities, but clusters has an important role, as you will see there, because you mobilize everybody. But we have to give a role to those entities that are connected with the implementation of the cohesion policy, namely the European Regional Development Fund, but for sure there will be innovative proposal as well for other funds. So this is quite important. There are already important initiatives on that field, and I think you should connect with them. If you are not involved, you should connect with them, because they have a lot of position. For example, there is the Smart Specialization Platform, as it has been said as well in these mornings, they have 3 thematic platforms, one in agri-food, another one in energy, and another one in industrial modernization. Probably the one of industrial modernization have a leading role. They are supported by an initiative called Reconfirm that will not continue, but there is something in the program that will provide as well technical assistance to this partnership in order to define common project. Okay. As well, there are other people who has prepared position paper, like the European Cluster Alliance. We have done several documents, and one of the most relevant one is an initiative originated in the Vanguard. Vanguard is the regions that are working together with this type of partnerships since I think 8 years. I don't know I don't recall exactly when it was created, but long time ago. And they decide to join other different regions, another different European association, and prepare a common position paper together in order to give their opinion. And I put here the index, what has been discussed in the document that is open. If you go to the website of the Vanguard Initiative, you could see there the paper. They discuss what are the thematic areas, what should be considered, and they establish that the main thematic areas should be those that are connected with the competitiveness of the industry, the design, the type of support that should be done, if it is grants or if it is blended capital or should be credit, the complementarities, and there is, and I quote that, there is a specific mention to clusters, saying that one of the main outcomes of this initiative should be to develop world clusters and to connect ecosystem among themselves. How synergies could be encouraged, how we could mobilize other funds, namely European Regional Development Funds, but as well Horizon 2020, that the project that will be approved should be connected with market failures and things that could improve the issues, the competitiveness on the industry. Here in the mornings we have discussed as well what are the challenges and the difficulties that in this moment we have in the economic crisis. The main barriers, because it's not easy to connect different regions together and in a long-term approach beyond the project basis, and this is the main thing of this type of partnership of will be that, and as well the governance. So this is how the Vanguard Initiative envisages the thing, and connected with other association, and we have been supporting this document that is very well written. So it gives you ideas as well about how the best entities positioned to apply for this call will have an idea of how they will apply for that. So it's quite useful as well. So without no more delay, I will pass the word to my colleague Andrea Carini, that will give you an introduction, a more detailed introduction about the core.
Thank you, Esteban. Good morning, everybody. So we can move to the next slide. Yes, we can skip this one and go to the next, and we go straight to the initiative. Okay, so the upcoming 2021-2027 programming period will seek to reinforce interregional cooperation for innovation within the European Union with the Commission proposal of the new Interregional Innovation Investment Initiative, aimed at helping actors involved in smart specialization strategies to cluster together, scale up, and bring innovation to the European market. So the new I3 instrument is supposed to be implemented under the European Regional Development Fund framework to allow a better synergy with the structural funds, with an indicative budget of 500 million. So the proposal foresees mainly two strands with an equal share of financial resources. In particular, strand one targets the well-developed ecosystems in the European Union and focuses on the part of the value chains which present weakness or market failures. So for instance, fragmentation, insufficient interconnection, or financial and technological gap. Here, solutions should arise from the interregional triple quadruple helix cooperation. So the interaction among the public authorities, the private and the academic sectors, and the civil society. On the other hand, the objective of the second strand is to increase the underutilized capacities of innovation ecosystem in less developed regions, while participating in global value chains, as well as the capacity to participate in partnership with other regions. The strand 2 also seeks to create linkages between the less developed regions with the more developed ones. Finally, another small part of the second strand, which is the second strand B, is dedicated to the capacity building for less developed regions, in particular, learning activities, evaluation, and capitalization. So we can now move on to the next slide. So in this slide, you can see more in detail the proposal framework of the Interregional Innovation Investment Initiative. Also, according to the information provided by the officer Valentina Pinna from DG Regio in one of the conferences held by the European Alliance Against Coronavirus just a few weeks ago. So for strand 1, the implementation modalities are expected to be biannual work programs, 2021, 2023, and 2025, with a two-stage selection process where partnership can send to the Commission a concept note, and the one selected will then send a full proposal. The applicants should be public authorities on behalf of the Smart Specialization Quadruple Helix Partnership, composed by a consortium of 4 or 5 regions, countries, and their regional innovation ecosystems. Also, the type of expenditure should be cascade funding. So the applicant signing the grant agreement redistribute the grant to the final beneficiaries composing the portfolio. The type of funding are grants. Like said before, the typology of projects are value chains projects in one of the topics indicated in the work program and facilitated by interregional ecosystems. So investment a project in interregional innovation, or reinforcing existing value chains, or accelerating the development of the new ones. The duration of those projects should be around 3 years, so they are multi-annual projects. And also, the type of investment should be interregional investments in companies to accelerate the market uptake commercialization, as the final goal is to bring something to the market and uptake the innovation technologies. The structure of strand 2A and 2B is similar to the strand 1, with some exceptions. So there is only one stage selection process. The applicants should be a consortium of 2-3 regional national innovation ecosystems. And also the grants should be smaller. The amount is not defined yet, but should be around 4.5 million, while the one of strand 1 should be around 10 million. Also, the strand 2B on the capacity building activities has 7 million per year per call. So the new Interregional Innovation Investment Initiative has 2 strands, but one objective: helping actors involved in smart specialization strategies to cluster together, scale up, and bring innovation to the European market. I now leave the floor to Christopher, who will present the position paper prepared by EURADA. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to check that you can hear me on this side. Perfect. Thank you to the European Cluster Alliance for inviting me here, and thank you to Esteban and Andrea for discussing and introducing the I3 and EURADA's approach to I3. And I'm now going to talk a little bit about EURADA's position paper that responds to a public consultation on the subject. From my side, I'd like to just skip straight to the 3 main positions that we will that we recommended within the position paper, particularly one on private companies, another on the openness of the initiative to all territories, EU and non-EU, within some limits, and then on the synergies that we would like the instrument to make with other instruments. I think it's not really very important that we discuss our introduction today, because, to be honest, we were just responding to the call within that part. I think the most important part and the most interesting part is our particular positions within the position paper, so to speak. So if we can change slide quickly, that would be perfect. So the first recommendation that we make broadly is that the instrument should be oriented to private companies. We said that was important because, well, we prioritise first the implementation of I3 for those that are the ultimate beneficiaries of the instrument, that is to say the companies, although there is some debate about who are the ultimate beneficiaries. So I think that's really important. Being private company centric is something that we think is really important for development agencies, because private companies seek to produce growth as a means of territorial development, and job growth in essence is produced by private companies inter alia in concert with other actors. But simply to recommend I3 as company centric is probably doesn't give you very much detail of what we're supporting in our position paper. At the heart of the instrument, we understand that we make a recommendation that there should be the instrument should support or should be supported by a blended finance model, particularly grants plus loans is important for us, and such an approach would allow a leverage effect, enabling private companies access to a financial instrument that goes beyond what has already been offered within a traditional R&I paradigm in the past 30 years. We also think that the instrument de-risks innovation investment by going beyond framework program projects to actual innovations, to supporting actual innovations. That is to say, funding proof of concepts and disruptive innovation to supporting seed startups. So that's why we focus on these elements within that one recommendation regarding private companies. We also make a series of recommendations of how I3 should be oriented to private companies. We stress that for the sake of ease and expediency, the instrument should be centrally managed by the European Commission. We think that central management is important because it will enable an expedient distribution and management of the funds that can be sometimes criticised for their complicated nature. If we could now move on to the second broad recommendation that we make within our position paper, we recommend in the second place within the position paper that the less developed regions are important and should be deliberately and specifically targeted by the instrument. We make a clear recommendation that additional support should be provided to these regions to enable them to participate following the reconfirm model, i.e. a process that involved external experts and dynamising a group of regions with technical assistance to create a joint inter-regional investment idea. We also say within this second position that our recommendation that the two strands of I3 should be balanced, and we offer a position on how to create inter-regional partnerships. Finally, we place importance on the I3 being open to all territories, and that's I suppose the main headline of this recommendation here, and we state that it should be for all European S3 territories. So, and I think now we can move on to the third slide. What I would also just like to say is that if anyone is interested in actually reading the position paper and seeing more in detail, going beyond what we're discussing today, our position paper is available on the EURADA website. So please do not hesitate to visit our website and find the position paper. In fact, we could probably put it in the chat at some point later. So on the third recommendation, of the position paper, we discussed synergies and how the instrument can activate synergies. We envisage that I3 should be compatible with EU funds targeted to COVID economic recovery, and that I3 should be seen as a top-up fund of regional funds with other RNI funds. On this part of the proposal, we're relatively, well, I would say, we could be more specific, but we think it's really worth it. It's really important that we really developed our idea on the synergies in that particular recommendation. We think, yeah, we see synergies as a combination of funds, but we're not sure. We didn't particularly develop what was the right combination of funds within the synergies recommendation. That is, but however, I should mention that beyond during the position paper review, we were able to introduce more ideas into synergies from our membership. So that has been developed. So I think that's, from my side, all I wanted to say. We make some broad conclusions, but as I said, I think it was easier to just run through them very quickly, which is that we discuss the budget that has been proposed, and we say that it's sufficient. We make the recommendation that it should be private company centric, centrally managed, open to all territories type, and also all territorial typologies, and that the synergies are very important. That would be the broad brush strokes of our position paper, and we hope that you will take the time to read it at some point and consider. And if you have any comments, feel free to reach out to EURADA, either to myself, Esteban, or Andrea, and we would be happy to have a continuous discussion with you on the matter at hand. Thank you.
Okay, this is what we wanted we present what is the main issues that the program is going to target, and then the call, as Valentina Pina explained here in detail, but summarized by my colleague Andrea, and the vision of EURADA regarding this program. I hope we will inspire you to give another opinion. All opinions are consistent and will help us to have a good program, I think, because it's long waiting. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Esteban. Thank you to you and your team. It has been a very, very clear presentation of the program, and it's important for us. So we have the information, the framework, and now what we should discuss about is what can be the role of clusters on that interregional innovation investment initiatives. So we have half an hour, and I really would like to hear you. Okay, I would like to hear your experiences. I mean, all the attendants, your ideas, your proposals. Okay, you have 3 questions in the screen, but we can speak out then or others. Okay, I think it's very important to be open today and to really get your positions. Okay, so the floor is open. Who wants to comment?
Yes, Antonio, can I make a brief question to Esteban? Esteban, thank you very much for your very interesting presentation. One of the questions that I think it's very important in which concerns the regional and the territorial area is the question of governance and evaluation. How do you think that this new experience that you are going to have within this new project can be a test to new models of governance, evaluation, and a better monitorization of the results and impacts of this project?
The smart specialization strategies has a complex governance already. From my point of view, and is my point of view, what we are going to achieve with this type of initiative is to reinforce the participatory governance that we call entrepreneurial discovery process inside of the smart specialization. But this type of initiative comes to solve something that the smart specialization strategy didn't have in the past. Because if you want to be specialized, and this is the purpose of that, you should connect with the global value chains. It doesn't have, and this was the origin of the strategies, which are the foundation of what we call in the past research and innovation strategies or economic growth strategies. Now, the cornerstone of that is the smart specialization strategies. And there we have that in order to identify where my territory is specialized and we could compete in the global value chain. In the past, this smart specialization strategy, to be honest, we are not very well connected internationally. So we made an in-house exercise to cover the maximum possible of sectors and industries in our territories. And in some cases, we work with neighbor regions. So this type of initiative is really important in order to connect what we have in our territories with similar or complementary territories abroad, and not in the framework of a project that will be supported by a project, by as a long-lasting alliance in order to set up what some regions has already, but to set up something that is a real collaboration in some of the specialities of the territory. I don't want to speak about, but there are examples of that. There are cluster of regions working in chemistry or things like that. We know how, but it has to be more generalized. Sometimes we are too fragmented, and this is why the smart specialization were established.
Thank you, Esteban. So there is one concrete question. The first one: what should be the role of clusters in regional and national innovation ecosystems? And during our position paper, during the discussion on the position paper, we say, okay, we need to be there. We are an important agent, okay, but we need to go deeper on that point. Why? How? Okay, are the questions. Okay, I would like to hear your experiences, because I know that we have been involved in some of the S3 strategies, and most of them, okay, but we have also had time to learn what is working or what is not working, and how can we improve it, okay? So I would like to hear your ideas on that point. For example.
Hello. Good morning,
yeah.
Antonio.
Good morning.
Yeah. Yes, I would like to share a little bit based on what Esteban mentioned, that now we have to focus on a broad and also interregional value chain. I think that cluster, they are the connection that can help to S3 priorities. It will depend on how it's organized, this value chain at regional level, and then provide input to create these investment interregional initiatives. Because as far as I know, the main interest currently, it's going to, well, Vanguard Initiative, they have a lot of demo cases or use cases, whatever you like, but always it was focused on technological infrastructure, but in somehow, yes, to have this shared business model. But if we have to focus on S3 abroad. So we have to cover, as Stefan mentioned, the value chain, the value chain at international level. So I think that it will be good exercise when cluster, because they have the industry and they have companies, which is, as it's mentioned, that the call have interest to involve the private sector because they are the motor of the economy, somehow to implement public policies. So I think that this is the link that cluster can have a relevant role to complement the value chain, and also to see which kind of innovation, interregional collaboration or investment could be done to reinforce that value chain.
Thank you, Nancy. So you mean that we should implement the kind of international collaboration networks that we are using for the frameworks, for the programs?
Yes, because until now, I think that we need to see something tangible. So it's easy to see which kind of infrastructure you have, because not all the region have the capacity and the resources to invest. So it's a good to have, advanced region that can share, or you can find a business model for that, and also benefits your companies. But at the same time, if you want to reinforce the real value chain and have interregional, or not interregional, global presence, I think that this is the role of the cluster, giving support to complement the industry on all the different part of the value chain, and see where is the lack, where is what could be the gap that could have, and then reinforce this collaboration to strong those priorities coming from S3. Because I'm really afraid, now I think a lot of organization or everybody is moving also to define which kind of project we will need, but somehow we are talking about public policies, and it's normal because the public priorities will be there. So it needs to have a balance.
I think what Nancy has said is very important. This should, and the role of the cluster should be to engage the private companies. We have, as Christopher has presented, the first recommendation that we do is that has to be SME-centric or private company-centric, because there are already many instruments for policy learning where public organization we meet each other. But this one, speaking about interregional investment, when we say investment and when we say innovation, we are talking about companies. So shouldn't be something that we ourselves understand very well. We are very happy. I say as public organization, as development agency. So I think this is the role of the clusters, to go beyond what public administration do. And the paper that Vanguard Initiative prepared for all of us as well, in the second paragraph says that should be SME-centric as well. So let's do something useful for our companies. And as Nancy said, I think the role of clusters should be there to bring really the industry in this initiative.
Thank you, Esteban. I totally agree, and I find that clusters provide some very specific capacities or properties, if you want. We are increasing the resilience and the adaptability of the projects through 3 years of project. If you are involving only individual companies, you can find that some of them can have specific problems or changes in the management, or changes of the economic circumstances, and it's very easy to find that the goals of the projects cannot be achieved. If you involve clusters, you are involving different networks that are constituted by many companies, many links, many different alternatives. So we are able to achieve the goals through different ways, through different paths and coordinating capacities. And so I think that this is what we are really providing. Not only just for sure the capacity to build a critical mass, but also to adapt through the process and to extend the linkages to whoever needs to be involved to really create excellent projects. And that is my experience, my view, but also my experience through the past year. So, what bottlenecks, market failures need to be addressed to mobilize innovation ecosystem to deliver the S3-based innovation investment? Which will be the main bottlenecks or market failures? Who wants to contribute with this question? Somebody, please, take the risk.
Antonio,
hello, Marek. Welcome.
Good morning. I didn't want to intervene because I wanted to let you discuss this because I have too much insight on this. But I mean, definitely, in DG Regio, Valentina Pina is now designing everything, and she's the key person in DG Regio to discuss it. I just want to. Because it's a bit of my baby as well, from the very beginning on creating this is the European integration real story, not meeting people. It's fine as well, but combining this building single market investments across Europe. So there were, I would say, four main things which never worked. There's information asymmetry, so people don't know what they have even in their field across Europe. Yeah. So there's what is the capacity? What are the researchers? Who are the researchers? What are the markets? The fragmentation between research world, the business world, the market demand. So from the very beginning, we wanted to have the instrument for investment. That's why its investment is interregional innovation investment. Investment in innovation, so meaning innovation must be put in place. It's not about the technological readiness level 6, 7. It's about putting really something in place because this is innovation. So we have this interregional, we have innovation, we have investment. Three things which define the story. So we have the issue of information asymmetry, and here cluster, we don't need to say, by definition, gluing everything and disseminating, as EURADA is doing, but EURADA have different stakeholders. Then we have the coordination failure, coordination failure, really managing the project from different angles, so that it can come to one concrete investment pipeline. And here we really struggle in the public domain to have the people who have financial literacy, who know how to prepare a business plan. And whoever did it, I did it many in my life, you start with demand. Yeah? You see what is the volume of sales that you can, and from this you build your return on investment, net present value, and on the project. Why I notice people are very often are starting from either paper demand or from technology they have, rather than starting from what is the market need. And I think here is the cluster. I mean, the members of the cluster, so businesses which can really come very strongly and help the public policy makers and the ones who are signing up for example, for the thematic smart specialization platforms. We have more than 25 groups, and it has a extremely important value because it's already dealing with information asymmetry. But still, there's always this the lacking element of gluing in one business case, which is market driven. Yeah, which is market driven, and then being able to put this in the framework of remuneration of into the business case, so that you know what is the market, you know what kind of resources you need, what kind of capacity you need in order to meet expectations of the market. So I'm trying to highlight this 4 elements. Yeah. So asymmetry of information, the coordination failure, financial literacy, and market knowledge, or the other way around, market knowledge and financial literacy, then the coordination failure and asymmetry of information. So and to be honest, we are in Europe, we have the European money, but for example, European Regional Development Fund has last year it was ESF 200 billion euro. For Interregional it was 10 billion. So it's 5% only. From this 5%, you have 90% for cross-border. Then you have for a bit for transnational, and then you have for Interreg, which is exchange of good practice. We don't really have instrument for innovation investment across Europe in cohesion policy, and this is the first time it is happening. So it's a big breakthrough, so I think clusters bringing this market element and financial literacy into this picture can be very, very helpful. Thanks. I didn't want to speak too much, but okay.
You are very welcome, Marek, and you are never speaking too much because it's the voice of a long experience, and you say, and as Irina comment in the chat, it's a brilliant answer. Thank you, Marek.
And sorry, last thing, a very practical one, because we are getting into the moment when MFF, I hope, will be adopted in December. I all hope it will start. So I want to echo what Esteban was saying. When the calls are there, it's already, you know, it's already late when they are open. I mean, in the sense of trying. So we have right now, you know, all indications as well from top down in flagships, in where the emphasis would be put from top down. It is the whole process of smart specialization going on in regions. So the clusters have as well at regional level the idea where the investments could be. And we have this thematic smart specialization platforms with key areas. So practically as well, it could be good that clusters can start among themselves already think where they can fit in the consortia to prepare because as you saw, it's quadruple helix. The condition is quadruple helix. You must have business there. You must have researchers there in the consortia. Otherwise, it's not. We are really putting emphasis on quadruple helix across Europe. It's an indispensable element in the future calls to have business there, and clusters can be exactly the ones who can bring this element in a very structured and with management quality way. Yeah? Linking the vertically multi-level governance between regional and national and EU projects, but as well bringing this knowledge of being able to have the capacity of organizing the business case. Yeah. So really taking Excel and writing the business case as the school is saying. So that's it. From practical point of view, I would maybe encourage already the cluster community to have a look at the thematic smart specialization platform, the topics, see what regions are there, involve clusters in these regions, so that they can maybe starting to prepare the concrete cases which they then can apply for. And I think the work should start already now. Thank you.
So the idea will be to base the work on the current S3 platforms. That will be the origin of the new proposal, most probably.
I don't want to prejudge because it will be open. Huh? It's not that this is prerequisite. I think the ones who are in the thematic platforms are probably the most already prepared because they know all the story. They gather the people. There's network already created. Like for last 2-3 years, some failed. Yeah, some you see that there will be no movement forward. It's okay. It's okay. It's just that there is. It seems that there is no. Either there was no coordination or there was no really no problem. But I think that as far as I know, and I don't want to talk on behalf of my colleagues from DG Regional, it will be open. So there will be no pre-assessment because you were in thematic smart specialization platform before. No, but the advantage of these groups are that they are already there, and you have commitment, political commitment from regions. Yeah? So it's not like you need to build it from scratch. It is already there.
Thank you, Marek, because you were advancing. You have advanced my next question. That was, how can we start linking clusters and regions and in a practical way? So that is one possibility. Excellent. Esteban, would you suggest any other way to start thinking about that? Can we organize some kind of event or matchmaking, or I don't know how to call it?
What is clear is that we have to work in our territories first. And what Marek has said now is crucial. We don't get the commitment of the region in the time of a call, of an open call. So the moment is start knocking in the doors now. And you have a framework, which is the smart specialization strategies. Every region is redesigning and monitoring. So my advice for the cluster is be there and be active. And whenever you are in the committees, explain this situation. And the good position is that accordingly with the discussion of the priority that you will do in the framework of the planning of the smart specialization, you should look for similar regions that has something already there. The easiest way is to contact with the partnership that are already established, if it's with what is looking for. However, be careful with the granularity as well. I think the project should be not very wide, but very focused on an aspect. So even if we have a wide topic, like I don't want to say names, but so maybe don't fit well, and the partnership will not work well later. So my conclusion is that knock the door of your region, because you have to have the quadruple helix there, and as well go through the partnership established and that are open normally to. We are helping them in the framework of Reconfirm. They have been here presenting at 8:30 in the morning. So you already, these people are already know many of them. But if not, you have the contact details, so just contact Antonio or me, because we have helping them in the Reconfirm. And as well, you have places where you could see the priorities of the regions and think on the future, not on a project. Think on a very long-term alliance for the benefit, because the companies are working in an industry, and the public administration and the clusters should work. Normally, you know them already. Normally, I think, but maybe it's a way to working with them.
We need to think about how to help our clusters to better engage. Thank you, Esteban. Patrick, did you have I think that did you wrote something in the chat? Would you comment? Hello, bonjour.
Hello, bonjour, good morning. Yes, just to comment that I think at cluster level, I think it's a very exciting time to finally being in a situation to implement such program. We're waiting for it for years, so this, and especially with regard to what mentioned Marek, the challenge to connect innovation and investment, and especially investment at regional level. So each of us are very much committed with S3 and smart specialization in our region. So we already, I think, cluster are already ready to engage themselves in the program. And just to, we had last week a Vanguard meeting on a specific pilot case, and we discussed the point of I3, let's say, opportunity really to go to implement the idea we have been working for several years, that we have implemented in the current program, Interreg or Horizon 2020. But yes, it's very exciting to now to step forward and have the capability to implement the ideas and on the critical topic. So thank you for this meeting again.
Merci beaucoup, Patrick. Okay, it's very good to have this concrete example of how you are working now. We have 4 minutes. There is one last question that for me is very clear, but I would like to hear your ideas, okay? Because how to link the value chain of SMEs to large companies, something that we are doing day by day, at least in my cluster in IDEA, okay? But and for me it's clear because at least here, one reality is that even large companies need very, very active partners, okay? And SMEs are in many occasions very specialized, focused, dynamic, and better prepared than the large companies to afford some of the prototypes or projects or initiatives. And they give them flexibility and capability. And that is my experience, but I would like to hear you. I don't know if somebody agrees or no, or disagree. There are other approaches. Please. No question, no comment, no challenges. Okay, so I understand that you agree. If not, please don't hesitate to write in the chat, okay? 2 minutes left. It's time to close again. For those of you that were not at the beginning of the session, we will focus our next morning sessions on different topics. Mainly, we will continue thinking about how clusters can be involved on the national recovery plans or and other initiatives. For sure, we will speak a lot about the S3, now S4, and the instruments as the Interregional Innovation Investment Initiative. We have decided also to go through all the different member states' innovation ecosystems, looking at the role of clusters on those ecosystems, okay? And also we have decided to change the regularity of the meetings, and so we will meet on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because we are looking for the long haul. Our intention is to continue for many months on with these kind of morning sessions, but we need to also work on other topics. So that is the decision by now. And you are important because you, yes, Esteban, just one moment. It's very important for you to contribute and to participate and to also propose. Esteban, please.
If you want to learn more about the topic that we have discussed today and meet the best partnership, they will have a good presentation next week in the framework of the European Week of Regions and Cities. It is on Tuesday, the 13th, from 4:30 till 6. So on Tuesday, the 13th is an event organized by Reconfig Initiative, and it's a good way to connect with the best partnership that are planning interregional innovation investment in the past. So sorry for the publicity advertising, but I think it's very practical.
Not sorry at all. You are giving us a very good hint on what to look for. I was just trying to link with the program, yeah, and I will share the link on the chat. So there you can find the program and look for the session that Esteban is mentioning. Thank you again. Thank you very much, Esteban, and all your team. And so we return next Monday with a very, very important session because we are going deeper on the guidelines for the recovery plans. We will focus it on automotive, but I think it will be interesting for everybody because we want to go just to the guidelines and look for how should concrete projects be presented. And we will do that with the help of one person from DG Grow. Sorry, because I need to look for the names. Yeah, Morgan Guillot. So my special recommendation, come here and join us. I am sure that as today we will learn a lot and it will be very useful for our future decisions. Thank you, Marek, also for your participation, and have a very good weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.